We're so honored to be here with you today and to celebrate some very special people to our Fairport family. And I would say over the last 9 years, I've had the privilege and honor of serving as the principal of Fairport High School and speaking at this event. And each year we have a theme for the district. And over the last couple of years, it's really been focused around restoration, reminding our students that their stories matter, but they don't necessarily define their path. Your stories that began so long ago when you walked the halls of FHS will add to the legacy of the graduates in the Alumni Hall of Fame and have gone on to accomplish great things, and we're so grateful to have you here with us today. I'm confident that your stories will serve as a model of passion, perseverance, resilience for our students for years to come. I have to just take a second to also thank you for your patience and understanding as you walk down our hallways and you see we're under a state of construction. Our alumni came back yesterday, had lunch with our kids to get to know each other, and we're able to see some of the benefits of the construction and demonstrate all the perseverance. I'm sure they talked to you about eating in the cafeteria in the gym last year, which was quite an adventure. So we're so happy to show how things have changed and hope you enjoyed that. But today is about you and these wonderful kids that are going to be talking about all the great things that you've done while you were here and since you've left. So we're so happy to call you Raiders. Thank you for being here this evening, adding your collective experiences to the ever-expanding and exceptional history of Fairport. So I'm going to turn things over to our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Gary Beyer, class of 2006. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Good evening, everybody. My name is Gary Beyer, as Mr. Clark just said, and I teach English here at Fairport High School and journalism as well. As I just said, I'm a 2006 graduate. And I was lucky enough actually to have John Davis as a teacher all the way back in 2005. Speaking of John, he began the tradition of honoring Fairport alumni, and over the past 24 years took great pride in welcoming new members. While he can't be here today because he's attending his nephew's wedding, he would like to congratulate all of today's inductees. So though John is not in attendance today, I would like to give him a round of applause for all he's done to celebrate Fairport alumni. So my job today really is to introduce our compassionate, committed, and hardworking students who had the opportunity to spend time, as Mr. Clark said, with the inductees during a luncheon yesterday. However, before I do that, we would like to thank some important people who make this event possible every year. First off, I would like to thank the Board of Education for their tireless support and all that we do as a school district, including this event where we celebrate past students who have gone on to achieve greatness. Some board members are here with us today. We have Erica Bellis-Pacer and Joyce Kostick. If we give them a round of applause. I had an opportunity to speak also with Brett Provenzano yesterday, the superintendent of Fairport Schools, at yesterday's Fairport High Pep Rally. He regrets not being able to attend today, as he is currently at the tilt between the St. John Fisher Cardinal football team and the Hobart Statesmen. For those who don't know, his oldest son, Jake, plays for Fisher, and his middle son Nick, plays for Hobart. So I'm sure Brett and his wife are rooting for both teams today. I can tell you that Brett deeply values raising up all Fairport students, present and past, and so we appreciate his continued commitment to supporting this event as well. And finally, I'd like to thank Art Elvitt, president of the Fairport Alumni Association, for leading the Wall of Fame committee members throughout the year to organize this annual event, and for ensuring that we continue this incredible tradition. He's also joined by another committee member, Byron Waddell, and we're also joined by other members of the Wall of Fame today. So if you could join me in giving them a hand as well. When I spoke with Art yesterday, he requested that I remind everyone that we are always accepting nominations for the Alumni Wall of Fame. So if you know anyone that is an accomplished alumni in mind, please visit the Fairport Central Schools website, click on the alumni, click on alumni under the district drop-down menu, and there you can find a digital nomination form. And now for the reason we're all here today, celebrating the class of 2022 Alumni Wall of Fame inductees. Today we honor Fairport alumni who grew up in our community, have earned incredible lifetime achievements, and now make meaningful contributions to the world. Furthermore, today's inductees serve as incredible role models to the students we serve at Fairport Central Schools. And the four students with us today will introduce each of the newest members of the Wall of Fame. These students are truly some of the best human beings we have the honor of serving at Fairport High School. Each of them were and are incredibly excited to be here today. Our first student presenter is Clara Valentine. As is the case with all of today's presenters, she is committed to various clubs, committees, and sports teams. Her accolades are too many to list, but I will tell you that she is a proud member of the girls' varsity soccer team and a dedicated sprinter for the varsity track team. Two things she's most proud of is her ability to form meaningful relationships with the people around her and to always find the positive in all that she does. In fact, I remember the first time I interacted with Clara. I don't know if Clara remembers this. It was in the hallway last year. I just happened to be walking next to her, and she was wearing that Clara smile that she always does. I asked her how she was doing. Without hesitation, she exclaimed, "Great, I love being here." She does, and genuine positivity is the perfect way to describe Clara. An interesting fact about Clara is that when she was little, she wanted to be the president of the United States, but she wanted to be president because she just wanted to live in the White House. And she also told me that if she was stranded on a desert island, she would want a phone so that she could call her parents. Yeah. And the best piece of advice she ever received was that one shouldn't stress about something for more than 30 minutes if it won't matter 2 or more years into the future. And I think that's some pretty darn good advice. With that, I give you Clara Valentine.
Good evening. My name is Clara Valentine, and I'm a junior at Fairport High School. Today, I have the honor of inducting Mr. Jonathan Beck, class of '98, into the Fairport Alumni Wall of Fame. This is a man who is well deserving of this award because of his hard work, good spirit, and kindness. As a high school student here, Mr. Beck ran for the cross-country and track teams. His athletic accomplishments at FHS are impressive and contribute to his tremendous character. During his time at Fairport, he made sure to always have fun with life and maintained meaningful relationships with his friends. Mr. Beck's biggest role models were his parents, who always taught him to do his best. They used to say, "Mistakes are good as long as one can learn from them." Mr. Beck recognizes the impact of family, friends, and the Fairport community have had on him that has led to his personal success. He was an All-American runner in college at MCC, Geneseo, and UNC Charlotte. After his college career, he started his own running and fitness retail business called the Red Coyote, named after his dog, Poncho, in Oklahoma City. Because of his background with other companies in retail, he did everything right in respect to networking and creating a community for his customers. Even though his store is in Oklahoma, Mr. Beck has managed to bring aspects of the Fairport community with him. From sponsoring a marathon for an Oklahoma City bombing to working with the company Girls on the Run, Mr. Beck's impact on the world is nothing short of extraordinary. Although he doesn't live in Fairport anymore, the Fairport spirit flows through everything he does and makes us proud to have him as one of our alumni. Starting a successful business is a very impressive feat, but what is more impressive is using that platform for good. When Mr. Beck first moved to Oklahoma City, one of his goals was to improve the overall health and wellness of the people. He chose to outfit the school track and cross-country teams in the city. This led to an increase in sports participation by 200%, and because athletes need to be passing school to play, graduation rates also increased by 50%. These are the details that go into making a store rated #1 in the country, a title given to the Red Coyote in 2015. Mr. Beck says his greatest accomplishment of all was not of the store's success, but the fact that he was able to do what he loved with the one he loved the most, his wife, Burke. They have worked together every day for the past 13 years, which he describes as a dream come true. Mr. Beck currently lives in Colorado with his family, which provides the opportunity for his employees to take on more responsibility for the business, which has allowed them to grow as business people along with the store. Reflecting on his past, Mr. Beck would advise high school students to have fun with their lives and not rush into the future. There is so much beauty in the unknown. So, to the teachers that pushed him to be his best, to the friends that comforted him at his worst, and to the mentors that not only opened doors for him, but taught him the ability to open new ones for himself, thank you. You have developed Mr. Beck into an incredible human being who helps more and more people every day. As a high school student, I can only hope to one day have had half as much of an impact as Mr. Beck. It is truly inspiring how he has created a community from scratch and maintains such positivity through it all. He has made Fairport proud with every accomplishment. I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity to meet Mr. Beck, for he has taught me the importance of balancing success and making the world a better place. And so it is my distinct honor to introduce to you the newest member of our Fairport Alumni Wall of Fame, Mr. Jonathan Beck.
Thank you, Clara, and congratulations again, John. The next student presenter is Abigail Rush, and she's also impressive. She's in her second year as the vice president in the class of 2024, a role that she embraces because she deeply values advocating for her classmates and providing them with the best possible experience at Fairport High. Abby's also excited to enter her second year working for the sound crew for Drama Club and drama productions, and this year has earned the title Head of Sound Crew. One of the achievements Abby is most proud of to this point in her life is not only making the jump from Regents classes to advanced placement classes last year, but also sticking with her AP classes. And while I only met Abby a week and a half ago, in my AP Language and Composition class, it's clear to me that she has the drive, skills, and personality to thrive in the AP classroom. When Abby was younger, she aspired to be a neurologist when she grew up, and today remains committed to helping people, considering the path of becoming an emergency RN. And according to Abby, though, a strange talent she has is that she can rapidly shake her eyes back and forth. I've not verified the information I'm about to tell you. I trust Abby due to her medical aspirations, but she says this is called voluntary nystagmus and is made possible by a gene found only in 8% of people. Who knew? With that, it's my pleasure to introduce Abigail Rush.
It actually is true. I did the research. You actually have to be born with it too, so I don't know. I just thought it was a talent that I had. But anyways, our second inductee this evening is Jennifer Collins, an alumnus from the class of 1974. When I look at Dr. Collins, I see a woman of true leadership, compassion, and bravery. I easily sympathize with Dr. Collins, and I could see that her eyes hold many stories. Dr. Collins was raised here in Fairport, New York with her parents and one sibling, and has just recently moved back into her childhood home. Throughout her high school career, Dr. Collins avidly participated in many school activities, such as our drama club, as a cast member in their shows, two of them being Flag Boys and Hello Dolly. Dr. Collins loved the arts, and she was also a member of our polyphonic choir. However, her most memorable moment date back to spending time with her friends that she made along the way, and she still talks to some of them today. Dr. Collins' biggest role models are her parents. Her father managed to create a successful landscaping business from nothing, and her mother influenced the idea of chasing dreams by obtaining her teaching degree at the age of 35. Her parents were not only successful in their career choices, but at home they were her biggest supporters. Each day they continued to encourage her and cheer her on, and Dr. Collins explained to me that her father was her hero, her companion, and her best friend. And her parents were just the kind of people who always had her back. Dr. Collins' parents instilled in her the very values that she would use to carve out her success in life as an individual: hard work, love, determination, and independence. As I talked with Dr. Collins and learned about her career, she quickly became an inspiration to me. Dr. Collins earned her doctorate degree in physical therapy, first practicing in pediatrics and eventually becoming a college professor and chairperson at Nazareth College. With 40 years of experience, she has also been honored with her physiotherapy work as a member of a Cross-World Health Sciences Institute in Kerala, India, and she is most proud of her success there. She expressed how fascinating it was to bring students along on her journeys each year and being able to interact with foreign cultures, traditional Indian medicine, and how interconnected and kind the people were. Dr. Collins feels honored to be able to help people from all around in whatever way that she can. I have learned that you can thoroughly rely on Dr. Collins to welcome anyone with open arms and an open mind. While Dr. Collins has carved a successful path in her medical studies and eventually being able to comfortably retire, her career life doesn't stop there. After enduring many challenges, roadblocks, and losses, Dr. Collins found the strength to start writing, publishing her first novel, Comfort in the Wings, and acquiring her rightfully earned title as an author. She has made it her personal mission to provide a lifeline for others in mourning and to shed light on struggles that may feel overbearing and even isolating. Dr. Collins focuses on both non-fictional and fictional genres and is currently working on her second novel. However, Dr. Collins' biggest accomplishment, honor, and prize is becoming a mother. To her, her family is the most important thing, and she's forever grateful for the people in her life, along with her son. She considers it a privilege to be able to work alongside her eldest in their family-owned business and wouldn't have it any other way. Presently, some of Dr. Collins' hobbies include maintaining her physical activity by walking 5 to 6 miles a day. She also thoroughly enjoys needlework, in which all her creations go to charitable organizations. She has even started volunteering at the Advent House, caring for people in hospice. Dr. Collins' most valuable piece of advice to the younger generations is that it won't mean a thing in 100 years. So to take advantage of new possibilities that come along, she told me, the most career changes I made did not come about because I was seeking something new or different. They were because some new, interesting opportunity presented itself. And with this, I stand here in awe, in admiration, and with complete gratitude for having the opportunity to share Dr. Collins' story. She is a woman of authority, grace, power, and proficiency. And I aspire to accomplish at least half of what she has. But through it all, she could not have done it without the support of her parents, and she thanks them for the guidance they provided. She also now thanks her son for sticking with her and becoming her right-hand man when she needed someone the most. Before I wrap up, I would like to thank my English teacher, Mr. Beyer, for providing this opportunity and guiding me along the way, and to thank everyone else here for coming tonight and listening to each and every one of us. Most importantly, though, I would like to thank Dr. Collins for opening herself up to me and allowing me to tell her story. And so it is my honor to introduce to you the newest member of the Fairport Alumni Wall of Fame, Dr. Jennifer Collins.
Thank you, Abby, and congratulations, Dr. Collins. Our third presenter is another great, and her name is Sarah Grover. Sarah is a member of Student Council, and her role is student representative to the Board of Education. She finds a lot of joy in sharing all the great things Fairport has to offer with the Board of Education members. And I want to quote Sarah directly here when talking about her role at board meetings. She says, quote, "I happen to serve as a bit of a warm welcome prior to the heated public comments." Sarah is also a captain of the Fairport tennis team, for which she plays third singles and first doubles. In fact, they had a match this morning against Mercy. And Sarah, how did you do?
Well, I won my individual match, but Fairport did not.
I guess I'm sorry to hear that, but great job, good work. To this point in her life, Sarah is most proud of her ability to balance school and her various extracurricular commitments with caring for her parents who both struggle with health complications. And I recall first meeting Sarah when I taught her in an SAT prep course last fall. Her personable, kind, and caring approach to life was immediately obvious. When Sarah was younger, a little interesting tidbits about Sarah, her comfort object was a stuffed horse that she called Ajo, A-J-O, and she has no idea how the name began, but I imagine her parents might know the backstory to that. And one of Sarah's guilty pleasures is watching sad romance movies, including the movie La La Land. And Sarah, if you haven't seen The Notebook, 10 out of 10, highly recommend. With that, I present to you Sarah Grover.
Thanks, Mr. Beyer. Good evening, everyone. Our next inductee is someone I just met yesterday, but has since painted the clearest picture of what it means to be a selfless person in my eyes. Her name is Virginia Williams Matson Gullo, but everyone calls her Ginny. Ginny graduated from Fairport in 1964. Before you assume, she was not one to experience the glorifications of one Dave Paddock way when she was in school. She actually graduated from Minerva DeLand High School with a class size of roughly 150 students. While Fairport High School was not yet built, the Red Raider pride was still powerful. Ginny and her peers were exceptionally close. Today, 100 students from her class are still on a contact list in which reunions are organized. She told me she isn't quite sure why everyone was able to hold on to such a tight bond, but believes that the assassination of President John F. Kennedy had something to do with it. After that late November morning of her junior year, everyone had experienced a cohesive tragedy, forcing them all to have each other's backs. I am so incredibly fortunate to say that this trend has carried throughout the years all the way into my own class, the class of 2023. Fairport knows how to be there for one another. When I asked Ginny if she had ever lived outside of our area, she replied, "I didn't even consider moving. I absolutely love it here." And so she does. She graduated from RIT with a bachelor's in medical illustration and later got her master's in teaching from Nazareth. That's good for her, right? Well, that's not all. She went through her post-secondary education while raising 4 children. She had a mother-in-law who was more than willing to watch the babies while she was in class, but she did have to bring one of them into her biology lecture a few times. And yes, there were some tears along the way. I am puzzled at how she was able to manage her time so efficiently, and she enlightened me with her reliance on the phrase, "Somehow, some way, you'll figure it out." While she must not have been busy enough with school and her children, Ginny also volunteered countless hours with the Parenton Ambulance. She joined in 1969 and is still riding in ambulances today. She is now the last reigning president and vice president of the Parenton Ambulance. Her life as an EMT created an epiphany she holds on to. Ginny told me, "I found that being able to be there for someone who was in a fearful time of their life was something I needed to do." After substituting in schools for years while searching for a job in teaching, she realized that she wanted to find a career in the field she truly loved. She sought to be a nurse after all of her contemplation. She has been at Strong Hospital now for 25 years, and she remarks this huge career choice as the best decision of her life. She began working in the burn trauma ICU, then switched specialties to gastroenterology. She is still working today because she followed her heart to seek her true vocation. "I found my purpose in nursing," she claimed. Ginny lives by the mantra that everything happens for a reason. In 2004, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. While this terrifying news definitely threw her off, she found the importance of maintaining a sense of normalcy. She continued to work part-time in the ICU to keep distracted. After 15 months of chemo and the greatest support a patient could ask for from her colleagues in the Wilmot Center, she rang the bell and realized she had conquered something she never would have thought would happen to her in the first place. And hence, her mantra holds true. Ginny is now able to relate to all of her patients with cancer diagnoses. She explained, "I always try to bring comfort to them through what I've been through. I bring them hope." Ginny is now an avid runner, a half marathoner, I might add, and has coordinated a 5K walk and run of her own, tagged "Strollin' for the Colon," raising money and awareness for colon cancer research. She enjoys art and working with pastels, making jewelry, and completing at-home projects with her husband. I personally would like to thank Ginny for all of her insight. She has demonstrated exactly what it means to live for others regardless of their differences. Her philanthropy as a human is something I strive to possess myself in the medical field one day as well. She is easily one of the kindest, most impressive women I've ever gotten the privilege to encounter. Thank you for everything you have devoted your time to. And now it is my honor to introduce to you the newest member of the Fairport Alumni Wall of Fame, Virginia Gullo.
Thank you, Sarah, and congratulations, Ginny. I'll hold on to it, don't worry. Our final student presenter today is Jake Dixon. I got to know Jake while working with him last fall as Fairport prepared to host Rock to Change, which is a local summit held across Monroe County where students discuss and explore the complexities of race relations in our community. Jake's maturity and commitment stood out as he often took on the role of leader during our meetings. Of Jake's various commitments, two that he enjoys most are running for the varsity cross-country team and being a member of Dream Club, which stands for Demonstrating Racial Equality for All Mankind. Jake is the type of young man who likes to challenge himself and make the people around him better. Cross-country allows him to do those two things every day. The biggest reason Jake enjoys being a member of Dream Club is because he, quote, likes talking with others about race, life, and how we're all more alike than different. One achievement Jake is most proud of was being elected freshman class president. He considered it an honor to lead his classmates. Jake's favorite place in the world is his family's farm in Kansas because he finds it relaxing and peaceful as it's surrounded by natural beauty. And an interesting fact about Jake is he changes the lock screen background on his phone to reflect the season because he loves being outside and enjoys photography. Yeah. Without further ado, I give you Jake Dixon.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jake, and I would like to thank the committee and Ms. Miner, Mr. Byer, Mr. Clark for inviting me to be part of this special weekend. A scheduling conflict has caused Dr. Proctor to be unable to make it to Fairport today. It's been incredible to complete research on Dr. Proctor through Wikipedia, her website, and things like that. And I enjoyed a conversation over lunch with Mr. Beck yesterday. Dr. Proctor is someone who is truly brilliant and truly inspirational, who graduated from Fairport in 1988 and went on to get a BS in Environmental Science, MS in Geology, and a PhD in Science Education. Dr. Proctor teaches science in my birth state of Arizona at South Mountain Community College. Here are some words that the doctor wished to share. Thank you, Fairport High School, for inviting me to share my Space to Inspire story with you. I am honored and proud to have been selected by the committee as a 2022 inductee into the Fairport High School Alumni Wall of Fame, and I am disappointed that my schedule did not allow me to be here with you today. The human endeavor is filled with a desire to be noticed, to stand out, to make a difference. I call it the affirmation of existence. But the human endeavor isn't easy, because when you have no control over where, when, or to whom you are born. Your gender, the color of your skin, or your social economic start in life are things you don't get to control when your life begins. But as you grow and develop, from cradle to grave, what you control is your unique, one-of-a-kind, amazing space. The space you inhabit. The space that makes you who you are. It is a magical, transformative space. There will only ever be one of you, and how you use your space matters. The things you do, the things you say, and the connections you make, they matter. You are seen, you do stand out, and you make a difference. My dad would say to me that we stand upon the shoulders of those who came before us. We all have a legacy, a family tree that isn't based on family, but is instead forged with imagination, opportunity, hard work, perseverance, and hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. On June 15th, 1921, Bessie Coleman became the first Black, Indigenous woman to earn an aviation pilot's license. She did this through pure grit and determination. Bessie was born during the time of segregation in the United States. It was a time of limited opportunities and immense challenges for both women and particularly for people of color. And here was Bessie Coleman, also known as Queen Bess, a Black woman with an incredible dream of wanting to learn how to fly. She embraced the power of learning and used her unique space to dream the impossible, challenge the system, and find a way around societal barriers. She worked multiple jobs, found allies and sponsors who understood her vision, learned another language, and ultimately left her home in the United States and moved to France. She was brave and determined. In France, she became a first, a trailblazer, a role model. She took this incredibly hard, challenging life endeavor because she was in search of her true self, that authenticity that comes from knowing you found your calling in life. She achieved that dream on June 15th, 1921. In September of that same year, she went back to the United States, a living legend, only to learn that she was still unable to support herself as an aviator. Instead of giving up, like most of us would, she returned to Europe for more training. 1 year later, in September of 1922, she performed in her first air show in the United States. The skies now belonged to her. Her history, along with the legacies of all those who struggled before me, enabled me to find my own space to inspire. My space story begins on the island of Guam, while my father was working at the NASA tracking system during the Apollo missions. My dad was part of the history helping the first human, Neil Armstrong, to walk on the moon. He contributed his skills to the advancement of human spaceflight, and as a result, was recognized by Armstrong for his contributions. Even though my family left Guam soon after I was born, I grew up with my father's space legacy in the form of NASA memorabilia and a dream of wanting to become a pilot and an astronaut. As a child, I fantasized about being a great explorer, going out into the world and discovering new things for humanity, boldly going where no one had gone before. But I quickly got discouraged. The imposter syndrome voice inside my head told me again and again that there was no way I would ever be smart enough or talented enough to discover anything new or remarkable for humanity. Luckily for me, I had won the birth lottery with two amazing parents. My father would tell me again and again that I could do anything and that the key to opportunity was through education. Neither of my parents had college degrees, but from an early age, they inspired me to become as educated as possible, and that's why I became Dr. Proctor. And as I got older, I realized that to be a great explorer didn't mean discovering something new for humanity. It meant discovering something new for myself. Once I embraced my own love of discovery, a new world opened up for me. I was committed to a life of learning and exploration. I was committed to being a seeker of knowledge and devoted to understanding the world around me and my space within it. But I was equally committed to sharing my love of learning as a teacher and science communicator. My entire life, I felt like Bessie Coleman, chasing something impossible, a love of aviation, space, and human exploration. I didn't know if I would ever achieve my dream of reaching space, but I never gave up hope. When the inspiration for mission came along and I could win a ticket to space by showing my entrepreneurial spirit by creating a 2-minute Twitter video, I decided I could be non-conventional just like Bessie. Even though I had only recently become an artist and a poet, I created an original poem expressing why they should choose me, and in doing so, I found my authentic voice. Exploring myself through art enabled me to express things in ways I never knew possible. It opened up new opportunities and ways of sharing my space to inspire. It changed my life by giving me the opportunity to realize my childhood dream of wanting to be a pilot, an astronaut, and just like Bessie Coleman, a part of history. I trained for 6 months to become the inspiration for a mission pilot. It was the most wonderful yet intense 6 months of my life. I can only imagine that Bessie felt the same, alone, in France, pursuing her dream, knowing that she was hopefully creating a foundation for those to follow. In 1921, Coleman earned her pilot license, and in 2021, exactly 100 years later, I found myself among the stars as the first black female pilot of a spacecraft. What would Queen Bess say if she knew her Space to Inspire legacy still shines bright with amazing black women who have followed her path to explore the skies above and beyond? I found my authentic self in my art and poetry, my space to inspire. Today, tomorrow, and deep into the future, it is the time for the administrators and educators at Fairport High School, my alma mater, to find their space to inspire, to motivate and encourage their students and those within reach and beyond. I also challenge the students of FHS to use their space to inspire to make those spaces just, equitable, diverse, and inclusive. Thank you again, Fairport High School Alumni Hall of Fame Committee, for this immense honor. That includes Dr. Proctor's written remarks. I would like to congratulate Dr. Proctor on multiple achievements that have shaped so many lives and welcome the doctor to the Fairport Alumni Hall of Fame.
Great job, Jake. Thank you, buddy. And with that, it is my honor to welcome the Wall of Fame class of 2022. In a moment, I'm going to invite everybody to take a walk with us, whoever is able. I'm going to ask the inductees and the student presenters just to stick around in 512 for just a couple minutes so we can get a couple pictures. But at this time, we invite everyone in attendance to join us in gathering at the Alumni Wall of Fame digital plaque board, which is located outside of the auditorium across from the gymnasium, where there will be refreshments and some further opportunities for conversations and photographs. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. Thank you.